Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this awesome bouncy house parkour course house. Yeah, that's kind of a lot to say in one go. So let me show you how this thing actually works, and then we can make it. So you start all the way here at the entrance, and everywhere that you'll find anywhere that's carpeted is bouncy. But the first obstacle we have is this very simple kind of like stepping stone maneuver across this water area. There's actually no other way to get up than to cross these stepping stones. We also have to jump up on top of this blue block right here, and this is a jump that I can actually fail. Hang on. Attempt 2. Yeah, so you've got to use the bounciness of the floor to jump from there onto here, and it is actually failable, so be careful. And then you've got to jump onto these blue blocks here, and then you've just got to cross this balancing beam, which is quite easy, but if you do manage to fall in, you'll have a nice surprise. So we have the house here, which has a nice little balcony. We have a nice little entrance room. We can climb up into the attic of the house, which has loads of stuff in it, or we can go down to the basement of the house, which has even more stuff. But if you did find that you fell into this pool, you don't have to worry, because you have access to the house anyway if you do fail, so you can get out, and you even have access to the little secret bedroom as well. So it's a pretty cool, interesting house, honestly, and the way to get out is you just simply, you pretty much just climb out of the water, and you can just go all the way down to the bottom and exit the green splash pool. I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that so much. I actually put quite a bit of thought into this, and I think it's really cool. If you guys do, please do hit that like. I'd really appreciate that. Let's get started. So to make the house, all we need is a 22 block by an 18 block area. 22 blocks left to right and about 18 blocks going from front to back. And we also need all of these materials that you can see in my inventory right now. Obviously, if you do want to do the inside of the house and the rooms and stuff, then you're going to need different stuff than this. You know, you'll obviously need a lot more blocks, but this is pretty much the base material. So make sure you've got all of these. We're starting with the ones in the hotbar. Pause the video if necessary, then we can begin. So once you've got all your stuff, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, and if you have made this grid in your world, which I would urge, it always helps, you're going to want to start on the front left hand corner of the grid, and then count inwards to the back by 1, 2, and 3. This is where we're going to be starting. You want to place a red concrete. You then want to go right of that red concrete by 1. Then place a blue concrete, going right. Then 2 red, 1, 2. Then a blue. Then a red. You actually want to place 2 red, 1, 2. Then place a green in front of this. And then a green to the right. Forwards. Then right. And then forwards. And then go right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then place a block in, right, in, right. Then place a red concrete coming inwards. And then to the right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then backwards by 6 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You then want to extend across the build, and it's actually easier to do it like this, right? So you want to extend this row of red concrete all the way to the right, extend it all the way to the right, no exceptions, until you are able to connect it to the front of the build. So you want to have a shape which should look very similar to this. What you then want to do is you want to take these red concrete blocks attached to the green and extend them to the back of the build to make 3 separate areas such as this. So you have 3 separate areas. I'm sure that you guys can do that, no problem. Now, once you've done that, we are going to... I think we're going to move on a little bit, honestly. I think that we're going to add some more details to the build. So the best way to do this is, if you look at the build like this, from the front to back, you want to come all the way to the top left-hand corner of the build, which is this block, this red block right here. And you want to go back from this block with your red by 7. So you want to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then place a yellow concrete behind this and go up on top of the yellow concrete by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And go right of that by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And connect that 8th block downwards, like that. You also want to take that 8th block and go up on top of it by 3. That's 1, 2, 3. Then you want to place 4 up left diagonals coming towards the back top of the house. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Then place 4 bottom left diagonals coming down and backwards this time, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And then connect down. So you'll have what pretty much looks like the capital letter A if it was a little bit wonkier on one side than the other. What we then want to do is we want to come to the back of the build here. And you want to, starting from the very first yellow block that we placed, which was of course this one, we want to extend this block to the left by 6 using red concrete. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then place a yellow concrete to the left of this, and you want to extend this yellow concrete upwards until it is equal in height to the row to the right of it, like this. So it's equal in height to the row to the right of it. We then want to take the top block, which is equal in height to that one, and we want to place the same diagonals as we did over that side. So that means we want to do 4, like forward, upwards diagonals. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 bottom left diagonals coming towards the front. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to connect downwards using yellow concrete, of course, like this. What we also want to do is we want to have the same horizontal row of yellow concrete as we do on the first side that we did. So we want to extend that row of yellow all the way in between these rows of yellow. So we kind of want to like connect it all together, such as that. We also want to give this place a roof. So the roof is actually positioned sideways, as you guys can see. Like it's not like a triangle on the front as you would expect. It's like positioned sideways, which means we want to use our red concrete, and we want to place red concrete on the outsides of the yellow triangles that we have created for the roof. So like if you just place red concrete like this on the outer yellow concretes that like form a triangle, and then you want the red concrete to come 1 block further down like this, just because it looks a little bit better like that. And what we also want to do is we want to extend the red concrete across the build until it is in an equivalent position on the opposite side. So what that means is you just want to extend it across until you have the same thing on this side as you do the opposite side as well. So I'm sure that you guys will be able to do that without too much trouble, just one side to the other, as you can see me doing here. And what we are also going to do is we're going to make the roof look a little bit more interesting in a moment, because we will take the ends of the roof and we'll do something with them. So once you have like extended the roof across just like this, we're going to extend the roof outwards a row. So like this, just, you know, 1 row outwards like that. And then we're going to connect it together like this. So like we just want to connect the corners of the red roof together, just because it gives a nicer impression. And we want to do the same on the opposite side, like the roof wants to look a bit nicer. So you make it overhang the build by 1 row, as you do with most roofs, if not all roofs. And you want to connect them together in the corners like this, which is pretty cool. I really like how that looks. You might even want to add yellow concrete, like here, underneath the original yellow concretes, to kind of like reinforce that shape and depth. because you see the blue concrete is going to be introduced later on as well, and it will really add like a little something to it. You guys will see what I'm talking about later on. But that's what you want to do to this side, and you might want to do the same thing to the opposite side as well. You might want to add yellow concrete underneath this. And I'm thinking whether to add the blue in now, or whether there's a good reason that we shouldn't. I actually don't think that there is a good reason why we shouldn't. So let me show you. We want to add first a floor into this place. Like, you know how we cut like the place in half using horizontal rows of yellow concrete? Well, add a floor in. So this can be any color that you like. I'm just using blue just because it kind of like came to me, but you can even carpet the area if you don't like blue and you decide to use it anyway. But the important part is that we have like a floor, because then we actually want to have we want to have walls built up. So like the back wall, for instance, is going to be made out of blue concrete, and it will look like this. So like from the inside of the build, it will look like this, like you've raised up the edge of the floor upwards to cover up the empty space on the outside, and you've created kind of like a cool level of depth by doing that. So like let's do it to this bigger side here. So like we're raising the edge of the floor up just to cover up the empty space. We don't want to, you know, completely fill the thing in. And we'll have this, and from the outside it looks quite cool. It looks like that. I really like how that turned out. And then on the front it's a little bit different, so we're going to do the other side as well. We're going to do the other long side, and we're just going to use the blue to raise up, and we're just going to fill in the empty space as we've discussed already, and then that will look like that. That's looking pretty good. On the front, we actually have a balcony, alright? So, you know, the balcony, we want to be able to get out onto it. So, I'm going to place a row of red concrete here and here, like this. And we already have the blue filled in on the sides. And whether or not you want to add like an additional blue or something, or maybe even like a red or something, then that's up to you, so there's no gaps. But we want to have that filled in on the sides, so now we can walk in and out of the house. And we also want to have a balcony. So if you take the corners here, like this yellow concrete block and this one, and if you extend them forwards by one each, and then inwards one, and then forwards one, like this, and then if you connect those together, and then fill the center in like this, and then if you put if you put red stained glass paint around it, then you've made a nice little balcony. Like that. I really like how that looks. So once you have done that, we can also fill in the lower parts. So the lower parts are easier. We just want to use our blue concrete to fill in all of these lower parts of the build. So first we're going to do the back. We just want to completely fill the back in. And once again, you just extend the floor downwards. Like the blue concrete wants to be one row inwards. And we're also going to have this side in as well. This is going to be filled in using the blue concrete too. Just like this. The right-hand side, you know what? We'll even fill the right-hand side in, even though this is the way that we're going to be getting out of the actual, like, the house. We'll work that out later. And then on this side, I'm just going to connect the top and the bottom together because I kind of want a window here. So, like, we'll connect the top and the bottom together, and then I'm going to place red stained glass paint in the center so that we kind of have, like, a little teasing area. Like this, if that makes sense. So now we can kind of like, you can kind of see in from the outside, and you get a sneak peek at what you're going to be getting, which I think is kind of cool, right? It's kind of exciting. So once you have done that, let's build up the rest of the area, like the parkour course and stuff. So come all the way to the back of the house, okay? You want to take this yellow concrete block that is on the ground and connect it together using red concrete. More red concrete, and you want to place a row of 7 red concrete going left of the yellow concrete block. You want 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then place a yellow concrete, and then place 5 red going left. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then place a yellow concrete. Is that? Yeah, that's correct. And then you want to connect to the front of the area by using a row of red like this. So you can see we're kind of like laying out where all of these things are going to be going. So I want you to raise up the yellow concrete block that we placed in this corner. I want you to raise it up by 4 using your yellow concrete. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Then you want to place a row of this is going to be tricky. 7 iron bars going left of that 4th block. That's going to be 1, and then the iron bars, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then place a yellow concrete on the end of the bars and extend the yellow concrete downwards, like this. Place another row of iron bars underneath your iron bars, so just like that to bolster them a little bit. That was a bit easier. Place a row of red concrete underneath the bars like this. And then that's quite good like that actually. Let's do the back a little bit more. Okay. So we want to also raise up this yellow concrete that we have on the back also by 4. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And we also want to, you see this row of red here that we have on the left, we want the same row of red to connect these 2 rows of yellow together, and we also want that row of red connecting to the house as well, like that. You can fill in between these 2 rows of yellow in using iron bars, this little section here, and you can fill the back section in using red stained glass pane, so 2 rows of red stained glass pane on top of the red concrete, like this. And once you have done that, we also want to take, okay, so it's this block in particular, like on the front, like you can see where this thing is, right? Like this block in particular, this one, you want to place, is it 4? Yeah, 4 yellow concrete on top of this. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And you want the same row of red here between this row of yellow concrete and this one on the front as you have on the side, on the back, so like here. However, we don't want it in between these two rows, but we also want a row of red coming from here to the front. So we're kind of like boxing this little section in like this. And there's a pretty decent reason for this, because what we now want to do is we want to, using blue concrete, we want to place a row of blue concrete. We actually want to place 3 rows of blue concrete, like 1, 2, 3, like coming up as high as the red concrete. So we're creating a wall, and we want the same on the back as well. We want to have 1, 2, 3, like that, just on the same on the back. We also want to connect the row of red concrete here on this side down to the ground using blue concrete, like this. And we also want to fill in this area using blue concrete. We basically just want to fill the empty space in though. So what we'll have basically, it should look like this from the side, and we don't want the blue concrete to come up any higher than that. And we want to take the middle of this row of red that we have here, that we place blue underneath, and we want to place 2 red concrete in the middle coming up, like 1, 2. Because this is where the balancing beam is going to go, so from this side to the entrance. And we want to place glass left and right of the red concrete, and we want to place 2 rows of it, so that there's no other way to get up on top of this block than completing the little mini parkour. And speaking of the parkour, you can place slime blocks in the top of this area, so you can completely fill the top of this in using slime blocks, right? Like this. And you can do this in any way that you want, but you want to place like, maybe like a couple of blue blocks like this, so that you have to like, basically, like the best way to describe it is like, maybe you just want to place 1 and maybe you have like some sort of difficult jump. So you want to be able to like have to jump onto here and then here, and it wants to be as challenging as you want. It can be a single block, it could be something like that, you know, like a stepping stone type deal. It could be whatever you want, but you know, you want to have made a jump from there to there, like that. And we also want to fill this bottom area in here using slime blocks too. So like, you guys might be able to remember this. I actually failed this at the start of the video because I'm terrible at parkour, but this area wants to be parkour as well. So this parkour as well. We'll do it later. We want to fill that in with slime. And we want to fill the entrance area in with slime as well, because these are all the bouncy bits. The middle bit is not bouncy, and we'll discuss that middle bit in a second, but we want to have filled those two sides in with slime, like the left side and the right side. The middle section is actually going to be water, so all in here is going to be water. I would recommend digging out the grass and replacing it with a colourful block. That's not something that I'm going to do on tutorial though, because it's kind of like a lengthy process, but you should like dig it out and replace it with something colourful. Yellow, green, but whatever you want to do. Any sort of colour that you like. We also want to take the corners of the two areas that we filled in with slime, the corners being this corner, and the two opposite corners on the other side. And you want to, on top of the corner blocks, place 3 yellow concrete on top of the corners, like here for instance, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you can do the same on the other side. So like it'll be this one. 1, 2, 3. And this one as well. 1, 2, 3. Just like that. We're also going to raise up the blue blocks as well near these two yellows until they are as high as the yellows themselves. Like this. And we're also going to, I want to make sure, yep. And we're also going to place quartz slabs in front of the 2 red concrete blocks in front of the blues. And we're going to place blue concrete either side of the quartz blocks like this. And we're also going to add stepping stones in here. So stepping stones are going to be from the middle of this area here. We want to have a red concrete block here. And we want to have a red concrete block on the opposite side in the middle. And make this harder if you like. And you want to place a row of stepping stones. Now, I'm leaving one gap between each stone like this. So you only got to make one block gap. And I'm going to place white concrete followed by red, just for a bit of, just for a bit of variance. But you could easily place like one here, you could really make it kind of a bit more difficult. And I'm going to use iron bars either side of the red concrete, because otherwise what would happen is you'd like walk in the water here, and then you could bypass this bit and you could just like jump onto it. And if you didn't have iron bars on the opposite side, you could walk through the water and just get onto this bit without having to do any sort of course. Make it harder, make it easier, it's up to you. I'm also going to place 2 rows of iron bars between all of these yellow concretes. So I'm going to place 1 row of iron bars and then 2 rows of iron bars, so that the yellow concrete is sticking up, 1 row, because I kind of like how it looks, like this. And then I'm going to do these. I also want to place iron bars between like the red and between the blue and the yellow, and also the yellow and the yellow, as you can see here as well. So we want to place 2 rows of iron bars like that, which is pretty cool. I mean, you can really see how this place is shaping up now, right? It looks really cool. Even looks a little bit mysterious. We also want to add a row of glass between the red concretes that we have in the middle, like in front of the pool. We want to add like a layer of glass, and you might want to do the same on the back too. So like a layer of glass here. I'm also, what else am I going to do? Well, we have to connect this blue down to the ground here, because you see, somewhere in the middle, probably about here, we'll have an entrance here, and we'll have an entrance here, right? So that we can, I'm just going to place an oak door as a placeholder, like here. That's where the bedroom was at the start. And here, that is the second level of the 3. There's actually 3 levels to that house. That is, that's like the basement of the actual house, like that. We also have to make like a little balancing beam, which is really easy, it's really easy to do. So, make it harder, make it easier, it's up to you. I just wanted to make it look cool and colourful. So, where we have this row of 2 red concrete, I'm going to place a white concrete coming from the second red. And then, like I said, if you wanted to, you can make it harder or easier. But this is what I did I placed like a red concrete, a white, red, white, to make it like a cool color combination, so that it looks better than it is hard. But if you wanted to, this is what you could do. You could place like, you could have like a couple of leaps to do. So like if you wanted to, instead, like you could have some floating blocks or floating pillars, and you could make it so that you had to like jump to the house. Or you can have a nice colourful balancing beam. Again, it's easier or harder. You could add ice to it. You could, you could do all sorts of stuff. But I've made it this way. The entrance to the house is right here. So like, the entrance is here. And I'm going to build up red concrete around the entrance like this. So that it's like framed nicely, like that. I really like how that goes. And now we have to fill this lower part in with water. So the part in between, I'm going to fill in with water. I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to add a layer of water in the bottom here. Like this. And then I'm just going to add a layer on top. The water doesn't have to be insanely high or anything. Like, the water only has to come about really it only has to come about as high as the doors, actually. Can you still get out? Can you perform like a 1 block jump out of water? No. Okay, so it has to come as high as the red concrete. I feel as though I already knew that, but you guys get the idea. Just place it going all the way around like this. Is that nice and still? Perfect. So now, if you do fail the jump and you don't want to enter the house, you want to give it another go or whatever, you'll have to like climb onto here, and then you'll have to do the other obstacle. Speaking of the other obstacle, by the way, this is what we have at the moment, right? This is really cool. I love these houses so much. They're really so much fun to design. So, probably the hardest obstacle that I have here, which I failed myself because I'm horrible. But like if you place a row of 2 blue concrete, like in about this position, right? You could even make it harder by placing the blue concrete here, so that you've got to jump from here onto the blue concrete, which might, you might fail yourself. And then I think you can actually, from here, you might even be able to straight up make the jump, which is like a 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sure you can make 4 block jumps in Minecraft. I'm sure that's like the limit of the blocks that you can jump. I'm really bad at it. Or you can utilize the bouncy ground, which might still be a bit challenging because you've got to hit in the right place and at the right speed and not fumble, so you can jump from there to there. But you just want to be able to jump from there to there. And I mean, what else? That's pretty much it. If you want to make it easier to get onto the blocks, you might want to place like a quartz slab like leading up to like here and here. You might find it a bit easier. That's pretty much everything, guys. I mean, there's not too much more to do. Choose some colors that you like to fill the slime in. So like you're going to want to use carpet to cover up the slime because it's still bouncy even when you do place carpet upon the slime. And it just makes it a lot more colourful, unless you really have a thing for green, and you might, because green is a pretty cool colour. As a matter of fact, I'm using it to fill this part of the bouncy in now. And then I did choose orange for this bit, but I'm thinking, is there a better colour that I can use? Maybe like magenta or something. Do I like magenta more? I don't know, but you can use whatever colour combination you like. You could even perhaps vary it a little bit. So like maybe we could even use like a bit of white and magenta or something, right? There's no rule book anywhere saying that we can't make it like that. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. That makes it a little bit more interesting. I mean, can we do a similar thing down here? Can we like make like a target or something? There's no reason why we can't do this. I mean, that looks a little bit more interesting if I do say so myself. I don't know. You might like that. You might not. So that's the house pretty much set up. Obviously, you'd work your way through the parkour. All of this works. We can make all of these jumps. If you want to tunnel into the basement, then that's quite easy. All you have to do is just like dig down, obviously, and you'll have to have like a way to climb into the basement. So you'd want to have like ladders, like this. If you wanted to install a second floor or what would be a third floor to the house, then you could feel free to do so by adding in a row of blue concrete. And maybe you could vary maybe like the entrance could be on that side, like this, so that it's different from the basement, so that you can have a multi-level house like this, so that you've now got 3 levels, this being the attic, this being the middle, the ground floor, and this one being the basement. And you of course have this door which takes you to the secret door hidden under here, which you could keep valuables or whatever you like in, which is pretty cool. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much everything, right? That's the house complete. I love this house, I really do. It's really crazy, and I want to make more of these. I'm not sure what to do exactly to make more of them, but I'm sure that I can come up with something, and I hope that you guys enjoy these. So this is what the house should look like once it has been 100% fully completed. I really like how it turned out. It's nice and colourful, and it's fun. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. It helps me out loads and loads. If you want to keep up to date to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button and click the little bell next to it. That ensures that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. If you want to make anything else by me, please check out the comment system and the description below. I have a wide variety of builds: survival, fun, modern, cartoon, the really old giant modern mansion that I believe either Ricegum or KSI once lived in and possibly still does. I have a whole host of stuff that you guys might want to check out in the cards and the description below. Check it out. What could the harm be? I bet that you'll find something that you like. And that's pretty much everything, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you so much. And I'll check you guys out in the next video. Goodbye!